Greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There is a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Every little bit is appreciated. And we're going to talk about the police state tonight. Intentional framing. You know, when they investigate themselves and find themselves having done no wrong, covering each other's asses, get pulled over for DUI, or get into an accident. Let's explain it the way it actually was. Get into an accident, and of course, your buddies, because you happen to work for them, come to investigate the scene, and of course, we're not going to talk about any DUI. We're going to hold that off to the very end, and we're going to get you a nice warm sweater, and we're going to have you go sit over here, and we're going to tell you to be quiet and don't say anything. We're on camera, all this kind of stuff, as opposed to the way they treat you when you're not one of them. And, of course, the law applies to thee and how they treat you then. So let's take a look at this first one as a extreme example, but not one that is necessarily a one-off either.
I swear to God.
This man begged the cops to call an ambulance after swallowing a large amount of cocaine. But what happened next will shock you.
He ate all this. Okay, what is that substance in there?
He ate all this. Okay, what is that substance? He gave him an answer immediately. They already knew what was going on. And if it was one of their officers that had done that, they'd be getting them right to the emergency room.
Ambulance. Call the ambulance, man.
For what?
For what? You just ate all this. What was that substance? Cocaine. Call the ambulance. For what?
He ate all this. Okay, what is that substance in there?
Call the ambulance. Call the ambulance, man.
For what?
Call the ambulance.
For what?
Call the ambulance.
He ate all this. Okay, what is that substance in there?
Call the ambulance. Call the ambulance, man.
For what?
Call the ambulance.
For what?
Call the ambulance, man.
What do you need?
Call the ambulance, please.
What do you need it for?
They not calling the ambulance. I swallowed some coke.
He ate all this. Okay, what is that substance in there?
Call the ambulance. Call the ambulance, man.
For what?
Call the ambulance.
For what?
Call the ambulance, man.
What do you need?
Call the ambulance, please.
What do you need it for?
They not calling the ambulance. I swallowed some coke.
What do you need it for?
They not calling the ambulance. I swallowed.
What do you need it for?
They not calling the ambulance.
What do you need it for?
They not calling the ambulance.
They have to give him a reason. You've got the fucking reason. You understand? He's a first responder. Remember the good cop who claimed that they're family counselors and marriage counselors and first responders? We need to give them a reason. You've got the reason. This is your first response. This is your first response. Yes, this is his first response. He already has the answer. He already has the reason. But this is his response.
I swallowed some coke and they did not call the ambulance.
Okay, relax.
Call the ambulance. Hey, call the ambulance, please. Call the ambulance.
Why do you need an
Hey,
ambulance?
I swallowed some a lot. Okay. Call the ambulance. I need the hospital for us. Swear to God. I need the hospital. Hey, call the ambulance.
Why are you screaming?
Call the ambulance. Please call the ambulance. Save me, man.
Why you
save me, man.
I can't talk to
you.
Oh,
Shit.
I said he was going to die. Usually when people say that, they do it.
Unfortunately, Lamar Bell passed away in the hospital.
That's their first response, guys. If you think they're there for your safety, they are not. When it's inherently the priority of your safety to get you to the hospital because you swallowed a large amount of cocaine, that is not their response. And again, not necessarily a one-off. Let's take a look at this next video. It says Georgia deputy involved in deadly shooting relieved of duties following federal indictment charges. And this was just 4 days ago over a case that happened maybe a couple years ago. And context here is this guy was let out of prison after serving a number of years. And he's got tags, everything. He's doing everything right, seemingly. But this guy seems to be on a certain agenda. This guy here used to be, was in prison for a number of years. I don't know what's going on there. Doesn't want to let me watch. There we go. So the guy at the truck is the guy that was in prison. He got out recently. He's been doing good. Got his own automobile, a truck here, and got plates and everything. Evidently, seemingly doing everything right. But this guy, like I said here, the officer has an agenda. So let's take a look.
Federal indictment against a Camden County Sheriff's deputy seen in this deadly traffic stop video. Buck Aldrich is now facing multiple civil rights violations.
The charges stem from 4 separate incidents, and we're still working to learn if any of them are related.
4 separate. So it's not a one-off when it comes to these type of people and the things they do. When they get caught, they seem to be caught up in multiple events over a period of time that everybody just keeps trying to whitewash and just let them go. Oftentimes wherein they can resign without being charged. So then they resign and just go work for somebody else.
Related to a high-profile traffic stop that first drew national attention.
Fariha Abrar joins us in the studio to walk us through the latest. And Fariha, I know you spoke with our crime and safety expert about what this means moving forward.
Yeah, and after a Georgia district attorney decided to not pursue criminal charges against Buck Aldrich, this 13-count federal indictment against the now former Camden County Sheriff deputy comes just 6 months later. A traffic stop ending in tragedy for Leonard Cure, only free for a few years after spending 16 years wrongfully imprisoned.
So he spent 3 years doing everything right. He didn't go back to prison. Understand that concept, folks. Obviously, over that period of time, much like an addict, he's changed his ways. A simple presumption, and yet it remains a presumption, but a good presumption, I would assert.
Step out! Get out!
Okay, if it's a traffic stop, particularly on a 4-lane highway, is it pertinent that you have somebody step out for a simple traffic stop? Wouldn't you have to have a lawful order to do so? And that lawful order, even under officer safety, would have to come from some observable fact that would inherently be reasonable and logical to a common man to be putting himself in a possible danger. You know, one of those indicators, physical, observable indicators.
Get out!
The verbal commands that were given right away were just poor. I mean,
Verbal commands that were given right away were just poor. No, they weren't even lawful. He had no reason. Understand this concept. He didn't even have a reason to order anybody out of the automobile. None.
Screaming. He's almost like taking this personally. There was plenty of other ways to handle a traffic stop.
Now, a federal indictment accuses Sergeant Buck Aldrich of repeated civil rights violations, which may include this encounter caught on his dash cam. It escalated quickly from speeding to shouting to a struggle, eventually a fatal shot. Ask your question, Aldrich's aggressive approach, asking what was it he did wrong. That's not a crime, is it, to be asking questions during the traffic stop?
Not at all. Could they have had that conversation where he gets his ticket issued to him?
First Coast News crime.
And what goes without being said there, evidently, seemingly, is what I pointed out, is he had no reason to be ordering him out of the truck. So had he just issued him his ticket and stuck within the parameters of the traffic stop, he would have been fine. But no, he escalated as soon as he got out of his vehicle and started screaming unlawful orders.
Safety expert Mark Bachman holds 35 years of law enforcement under his belt and says this traffic stop did not have to go down the way it did in 2023. Instead of ending in a citation, gunfire.
Yeah, 2023.
Federal prosecutors spent over a year building their case.
After GBI does their investigation and you have the FBI looking at it in
Look at this guy. These are the kind of people you want serving you in public in that kind of capacity. It's your duty, like I said. The forefathers said that the people of this great nation have a duty to throw off a despotic government. And I'll agree with that 100%.
with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, you're talking 18 months later, they're going to charge him. So they did their due diligence and work on this.
But this wasn't the deputy's first time violating policy.
Aldridge, in this particular incident, lacked that professionalism from the very get-go, from the very time he pulled them over and stopped them to leading up to having to fire a round and take his life.
And so according to the Camden County Sheriff's Office, Aldridge was relieved of his duties this morning. Now, we're also learning Leonard Kerr's family, along with 2 civil rights attorneys and the NAACP, is holding a news conference tomorrow in Brunswick. We'll be there and bring it to you live on First Coast News Plus. Fadi Habra, First Coast News, on your side.
This company is going.
So yeah, interesting case. And I hope people will pay attention again. What I'm doing here, folks, is only pointing out the obvious that doesn't seem to be so damn obvious. And I'm wondering when people are going to start speaking up against it like I do and becoming active in their communities. Like I said, I go to city council meetings and meet with the mayor in private and stuff, wearing this very short mustache. And we actually have good relationships. I haven't had any problems. And that's including when I video the meetings. So again, that First Amendment, it's a great right for me to be able to freely express myself in those open forums. But more inherently and exponentially, a greater right is the right of other people to know. It's imperative that we learn to speak out. This one here is busted by judge. Police and prosecutors intentionally framed innocent woman for killing a cop. So again, when it comes to the gentleman that absolutely needed help and they refused to do that first response according to that nature and his health and well-being and safety, they totally ignored it. In the case where the cop is totally liable for his own damn actions, they try to blame an innocent woman through intentionally framing her. These are the people you want in that public service and have such great faith that they're going to protect you. Again, I urge you people to understand your duty is to enforce the law.
Do that. Why? This is a busy street.
There are a lot of people out there who say, and I don't know why they would, you don't hate tyrannical badge tyrants enough. And this may be one of those videos that gives them the reason.
And go over and check this man out. Here's the deal, folks. He does a lot of good videos. And I don't know where he got this when I looked for it, but evidently I'm not as good at finding this as he is, but it's a great case and he did a good job on pointing it out. So I don't know how much I've got to say on here, except that, again, I'm just pointing out the obvious, which is what Brian's doing, pointing out the obvious, which is what they're trying to hide. The obvious is that they're the criminals. They're the blue gang. Okay? They're the thugs. They assert the almighty power of authority in that little badge and that weapon.
to say that. In order to charge an innocent woman with a crime for the death of a police officer who stupidly ran out into traffic, you can see his leg right here. He's stopping right before he gets struck by this car right here, driven by that innocent woman. In order to nail that poor woman to the wall and ruin her life, they deliberately hid evidence from the grand jury that would have vindicated her. I really want you to let that sink in. The Phoenix Police Department deliberately got with prosecutors to hide evidence that innocent Nubia Rodriguez was just that. Innocent. When the state finally declared that Nubia Rodriguez wasn't at fault for the accident, she filed a civil rights lawsuit for malicious prosecution. After the lawsuit, they agreed to settle the case. And here's where the gears of evil really started grinding. After they agreed to settle, the Phoenix Police Department replaced all the attorneys who agreed to the settlement. Now they've got new attorneys so they can run the clock out on Nubia Rodriguez after they tried to ruin her life. We're going to go ahead.
So all they're doing is playing a little shell game with the facts and the truths. And again, I'm telling you, that's the wrong venue. Okay. Your true venue is the world. And I've said many times, the truth needs no defense. And so we did a video here not long ago about Aaron Spencer and how they tried to place a gag order on him. I'm telling you, folks, your First Amendment cannot be infringed. I don't care what kind of court order it is. You have firsthand experience. You have the right to be the conduit of the truth. And again, it needs no defense.
Watch this and make some comments along the way.
Trapped underwater.
And my apology for the commercials yet to be resolved soon. Well, now what?
He got rid of me. Like, why would he do that? Why?
Come on. No.
He got rid of me. Like, why would he do that? Why? I don't know. Is he alive?
I don't know. Phoenix is not done fighting this woman. Police went after her for years with trumped-up charges. After the court tossed those charges, she filed a lawsuit. And now records show the city just pulled out of a settlement. If she looks familiar, it's because she's the driver who hit and killed the Phoenix police officer who darted unexpectedly into rush hour traffic. It was tragic, terrible, but the city couldn't let it go then. And as you're about to see, they still won't now, even though new video shows the city admits the officer made a mistake.
Rest in peace, Officer Paul Rutherford. Signs across the Valley freeways recognizing and honoring the Phoenix police officer killed in the line of duty 1 week ago today.
Paul Rutherford's death was a tragedy. While investigating a traffic accident in 2019, he suddenly moved into traffic.
He got rid of me. Like, why would he do that? Why? This is a busy street.
That woman is Nubia Rodriguez. To charge her with negligent homicide, police withheld this video evidence from the grand jury, and the court found they used misleading and biased testimony.
And I do not see probable cause.
Okay, so let's slow it down then. See if that helps.
He got rid of me. Like, why would he do that?
Wow.
Why? This is a
The city just pulled out of a settlement. If she looks familiar, it's because she's the driver who hit and killed the Phoenix police officer who darted unexpectedly into rush hour traffic. It was tragic, terrible, but the city couldn't let it go then. And as you're about to see, they still won't now. Even though new video shows the city admits the officer made a mistake.
Rest in peace, Officer Paul Rutherford. Signs across the Valley freeways recognizing and honoring the Phoenix police officer killed in the line of duty 1 week ago today.
Paul Rutherford's death was a tragedy. While investigating a traffic accident in 2019, he suddenly moved into traffic.
He got rid of me. Like, why would he do that? Why? This
That woman is Nubia Rodriguez. To charge her with negligent homicide, police withheld this video evidence from the grand jury, and the court found they used misleading and biased testimony.
And I do not see probable cause in this case.
Did you hear that? In order to charge her and pin her as being guilty for killing a police officer, they withheld evidence. When they have, we always hear cops say, well, we're looking for evidence. We're doing an investigative detention. We got to investigate so we can gather evidence. They're trying to gather evidence against you, never for you. And then when they have evidence that speaks in your favor and testifies to your innocence, they want to withhold it.
To charge.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. We've got to understand when we want to assert that Fifth Amendment right, we really need to know when to do that at all times. And we have to be mindful that what their tactics are and how they work against you, even if you don't speak. Even if you don't speak, they will still try to present that this woman killed that officer and that she should be held liable, disregarding his own responsibility during his job. No flares, no nothing.
Charge her with negligent homicide. Police withheld this video evidence from the grand jury, and the court found they used
withhold it.
To charge her with negligent homicide, police withheld this video evidence from the grand jury, and the court found
it.
To charge her with negligent homicide, police withheld this video evidence from the grand jury, and the court found they used misleading and biased testimony.
And I do not see probable cause in this case.
When the full truth finally came out, after 3 years, the judge tossed the case.
Yeah, but what if it wasn't on video? And this is why you want a dash cam. You want to make sure.
Absolutely. Another point that I make, we used to have neighborhood watch programs and neighborhood parties, where they'd block off streets and the neighbors knew each other very well and they looked out for each other. Today we have cameras, we have phones where we can look out for each other, even if we don't know each other, just simply by using those things. When you see things, they say when you see something, say something. What's the best way to say something than capturing video of it? And then when you have video from multiple perspectives, the truth becomes plain and clear. It's quite obvious.
Sure, you're recording at all times. It'd be good to have a 360 cam so that you don't miss any of the angles, because cops will lie against you. Prosecutors will hide evidence so they can shove you in the prison industrial complex. It is maddening. And this doesn't just happen in the Phoenix Police Department. This is happening everywhere at all times, every day in America, under the banner of to protect and serve.
What matters is he appeared from a place that he shouldn't have been to a regular driver, whether he was an officer or not. He ran out in front of her.
After the charges were dropped, Nubia filed a lawsuit against Phoenix for malicious prosecution, and records show the case was set to settle. The city's attorneys even requested a pause in the case so the settlement could be approved by the city council by July 1st at the latest.
I started Tai Chi at 50.
My apologies for the commercials again. Hopefully it'll be solved soon. Thanks.
Asked me for it.
Oh, come on. Wouldn't you know it?
Jumped in front of me. Like, why would he do that? And why?
Latest, but that didn't happen. But here's what did. Phoenix replaced the attorneys who reached the tentative settlement and brought in new ones. And that means the lawsuit will continue, possibly for years.
Yeah, we destroyed her life. Yeah, we said we'd agree to a settlement so we can kind of smooth things over, but her life is still destroyed. Her reputation is still ruined. So let's see, what can we do to help this woman? Oh yeah, let's just not settle. Let's replace all the attorneys and let's run out the clock on this lady because we've got deep pockets. She doesn't. It's
And that's exactly what it is, guys. If you understand the Trading with the Enemy Act, it's a program of economic warfare. It is run by the United States, and it is known as the New World Order. Just in case you missed it, I've already done a video on this. What was it? 100 years of the Trading with the Enemy Act. What was it? A series of videos, four or five videos, I believe.
insidious. It's egregious. It's evil.
I swear the following testimony you're about to give will be the truth.
So far, only one deposition has been conducted in the case, and we got a copy.
My name's Cummings Smith.
And you're a detective at the city of Phoenix?
Yes.
Detective Smith taught traffic collision investigations at the police academy.
Why is it important to establish a safe traffic pattern?
That way no one's harmed during the investigation.
Safe traffic pattern. This is what I was talking about with the flares or cones or something. You're supposed to set those up when you come upon an accident. Should be one of the first things you do, so you can then, like this man says, investigate. There's a process.
Officers trained about the dangers of secondary collisions.
Yes.
And Detective Smith was asked about all of the policies, about all of the tools that officers could and should use. Tools that Rutherford did.
Notice no cones or nothing. He didn't use any. In fact, the only thing visible is his work vehicle, and I can't even tell if the lights and stuff are going right now. I don't see anything flashing on his vehicle or nothing. I don't see no cones, no flares, no nothing.
When they're directing traffic, correct?
Look at this. Here he is right here. And then he steps out from beyond his patrol cruiser into traffic. The lady didn't see him, hit him at the last second. They have it all on video. Thank God.
And I think he was heading over to this vehicle across the way here. It seems like that might have been the one involved because it's sitting there in the middle of the drive entrance to this parking lot here.
They have it on video. This woman probably would be sitting in jail right now.
Correct.
Oh, no.
In addition to flares and
my apologies, it was moving. So he was headed over across the street this way.
traffic vests, the city of Phoenix operations orders require a whistle to be carried in all marked police cars. True?
Yes.
What are whistles used for?
Directing traffic.
Detective Smith did not investigate Rutherford's death, but attorneys questioned him about how the investigation was handled.
You were in the unit in 2019. You knew that the unit was investigating Paul Rutherford's death, true? Form.
Correct.
Everyone knew it, right?
Yes.
It was a big deal. Form.
It was.
Nobody is occupying the curb lane.
But the case was handled by a detective in training, Michael Davidson, and attorneys questioned Smith about Davidson's training.
Do you see anywhere in Detective Davidson's training records where he received any training at all that is required by the Traffic Bureau's Vehicular Crime Unit?
As a professional fitter,
And
I
my
realized
apologies
most
for the
bras were not
commercials
designed
again.
with seniors in mind.
One of these
Thin
days.
straps
Form.
So he keeps on looking. This is a great question. This means that the Phoenix Police Department did not adequately train that officer.
Greetings, Bad Barney. How you doing today, brother? Your mic doing better?
I hope it is. They sound good.
Sounds better.
Good. Good.
So what do you think so far? Interesting, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched this earlier.
Yeah.
That Brian did, and it's crazy. I can't believe, what they're doing to this poor woman, and then pulling out of the settlement. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'm pointing out. This with all this insanity that's going on, and people just handing this supposed responsibility over to these people and thinking they're actually going to do that job is just it's so obvious, and it's not a one-off. This is not a singular case. This happens all the time, and
Yep,
it's just a shame people don't see it. You know,
I
it's that
agree.
part about when do you think they're going to come knocking on your door? You know, it's back to blue, and until they come for you, and nobody, you know, expects it. But then when it happens, then they're the victim, and they want to start screaming out. You know,
That's right. Then
No,
it's too late.
Phoenix told
yeah, and then it's too late.
us they won't comment because this is an active lawsuit. As for Nubia, in a statement, her attorney told us, quote, the city of Phoenix's treatment of Nubia Rodriguez remains, in a word, abhorrent. The city falsely accused Nubia of the homicide of a police officer who, by all accounts, was a good man who made a tragic mistake by running into traffic. The city refuses to take accountability for its officers' actions and the absolute destruction of an innocent woman's life.
There you go. The absolute destruction of a woman's life at the hands of people who are supposed to be protecting and serving that woman. And if it wasn't for video evidence, she would be sitting in jail right now. Even with video evidence, they tried to hide it from the grand jury. How dishonest and evil is that? And this is beyond legality and illegality. This is firmly and squarely placed on the board of morality versus immorality.
Absolutely, and that's the foundational element that I'm speaking about. In case people don't understand, is that morally, again, like the forefathers said, you have a duty to throw off a despotic government. In that, it's based on the moral foundation of that governing yourself. And that's your own mental capacities. So if you keep giving up the responsibility to somebody else and don't practice that yourself, you don't have the capacity to step into it. Whereas if you don't give up that responsibility and you practice until you've got it, it's only then that you can properly delegate some given set of sub-authorities, but you still remain the principal. And this is what people have blindly done, given up in being these bitch-ass slaves, these fucking fools, these sheeple. And I, too, was one of them, you know. But when you start educating yourself again and start doing those things and putting them into practice with that firsthand experience, that's when you gain that knowledge and the capacity, what your word really means. That's when you become able to comprehend that the truth needs no defense. You just need to man up to it. That's taking the accountability. And most people refuse to do that to such extent that even if the one that's supposed to take responsibility and accountability died because of that stupidity or whatever, others that like him, simply because they're associated with him in the same popularity contest, will do it for him. They will literally intentionally frame somebody else as responsible. Pathetic.
They knowingly hid evidence that would have freed this woman, that would have vindicated this woman, that would have shown the jury the absolute truth. Why would the police department and the prosecutor's office hide truth from a jury? This is evidence that we have dirty cops, dirty administrators, dirty prosecutors trying to frame this woman. Why aren't these people in jail right now? How can this ever be tolerated in this so-called land of the free, home of the brave? Please share this video. Get this out to as many people as possible. Again, this isn't just an isolated case that's happening in the Phoenix Police Department, which, by the way, just got investigated by the DOJ. They're so bad. This is happening everywhere. And if you want to learn about systemic active police crime-related case that's happening in the Phoenix Police Department, which, by the way, just got investigated by the DOJ. They're so bad. This related case that's happening in the Phoenix Police Department, which, by the way, just got investigated by the DOJ. They're so bad. This is happening everywhere. And if you want to learn about systemic active police criminality, just pull up the Mullen report. It's the Mullen Commission report that investigated how widespread the criminality was within the NYPD.
And it's not within just the NYPD. It's literally, like I said, systemic. It's across the board throughout the nation. Almost every community. I know there might be one or two little town hick communities that there's not enough people to have corruption. They all kind of mind their own business, and they're too busy with their business to mind somebody else's, because they are the breadbasket of that community. They have to survive themselves. So they're not interested in putting somebody else down and stepping on their neck in order to get a hand up. So I understand not systemic in that sense, but broadly systemic. It perpetrates almost every community. And I urge people to start paying attention. So this last one we got, like I said, there's going to be a time when people will find out, like Hillary Clinton said, if they ever find out what we did, they'll hang us in the street. There are going to be people that already know what you did, and you got away with it in the general consensus in the eyes of the masses of the people. But there are going to be those certain instances where you're going to have those that want retribution and revenge. And in such a capacity as proclaiming that your job is so dangerous, I urge you to understand the concept that not only is your job dangerous, but your life is on the line, even if you no longer have that job. That's the distinction of why it should be a moral foundation when you try to adhere to a law that you don't really know, and try to use an administrative system to support and back you for a paycheck simply because you want to be seen in the eyes of the general public as a hero. You're not. You're not a family counselor. You're not a marriage counselor. You're not a psychologist, psychiatrist. You're not a medical expert of any sort. I would say at best, you have some military training tactics from the police academy that supersede everything else for your safety and nothing else, so that at the end of the day, you go home. Like I said, tides are going to turn here or there, and they may seem slow or intermittent one-offs again, seemingly, but I'm telling you, natural law has a way of putting things in balance. And I just see this as one of those ways where it might happen. I'm not saying it is. I'm not proposing that it should, or that you should interact in this manner. I'm just saying natural law kind of tends to help me comprehend that the people at their own will en masse might end up doing something like this as a known behavior that they can turn to in order to throw out that despotic government.
Many people gathered for weeks holding out hope for Caleb Eisworth. Today, those same people are mourning a man they call a hero, a husband, a father, and a friend to the city.
And notice they didn't call him a family counselor, a marriage counselor, a psychologist, psychiatrist. No. But they named many hats. And that's why I say it's important to understand that Isaiah 54:17, and any tongue that rises against you in judgment, thou shalt condemn. You have to know, just like those languages, in this world, you have to know those different hats that different people are wearing. And you have to be able to similarly wear the same kinds of hats. You have to be able to prospectively put yourself in their shoes in some instances. Even if you don't like police officers, You still need to put yourself in their shoes so that you can see that at the end of the day, it's their safety and why they would want to go home to their family and that paycheck. That's what everybody wants to do inherently. The ways and means of getting it are different. And that's what I'm pointing out. Again, based on that foundation of morals, why do you have that job as an officer? Is it because it allows you to qualify for a dangerous job and use that qualification as the ways and means to make sure that you go home at the end of the day?
Passing marks the end of a fight that inspired so many, but also the start of a legacy that will live on in Baton Rouge. Sergeant Caleb Eisworth served Baton Rouge for many years, a husband and father known for his smile and dedication. But unfortunately, in June, while on duty riding his police motorcycle, he was struck by a car.
He was an outstanding man, outstanding father, son, a great policeman, always had a smile on his face.
For weeks, colleagues, neighbors, and hospital staff filled the hallways, and in his final moments, many stood in line to show their love and respect as Sergeant Eisworth took his last breath.
Doctors, nurses, cooks, they lined the walls, and really heartening to see. Sad that they had to go through it. You could see the pain on their face, and they didn't know the gentleman.
The man accused of running over Sergeant Caleb Eisworth, Gad Black, is set to return to court September 3rd. He's currently charged with attempted first-degree murder and hate crimes, but prosecutors say those charges could change.
This case surely is statutorily and factually made for the death penalty. We always seek input of the family. I assume that I know what their answer is, but I don't want to just assume that.
However, Moore says the community has suffered a great loss.
Not only did Baton Rouge Police lose a true hero here today, we the whole law enforcement community, but the city of Baton Rouge lost someone that's extremely valuable.
Now, the impact of Sergeant Eisworth's life and service is being felt across Baton Rouge. Mayor President Sid Edwards has ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff to serve as a reminder for all the sacrifices he made. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Ethan Good, Louisiana First News.
All the sacrifices he made. All the sacrifices he made. I wonder if he sacrificed somebody in a traffic stop. So that he, at the end of the day, could go home with a paycheck. I wonder if he sacrificed somebody in a traffic stop for a quota. Not that he killed them or anything, but that he sacrificed their integrity for his lies or his assumed authority over their idiocy of not knowing he didn't have authority. What do you think, Barney?
I think that's probably right. That's what I put in the chat down there. Wonder how many lives he ruined through his time as an officer.
Absolutely, and that's why I point out in these situations where we find an officer that's corrupt, it's not just a one-off in his career, her career. It's not a one-off anywhere. It's systemic. And again, it goes to that good cop. It's so systemic that there couldn't be a good cop out there, because a good cop would say otherwise. But they don't say otherwise until after they get caught and say, well, yeah, we didn't really support him. You know, we knew something was hinky with him. You know, you knew absolutely what was hinky with him because you were involved. You were watching it. You were firsthand witnesses to felonies. And that's a violation of 18 U.S.C. 4, misprision of felony, where you have a duty to turn those types of events in, regardless of who committed them. So, you got anything else here? That's the last one I got for tonight.
Okay.
I'm glad you came up. I saw your comment in the back. I'll check it out. My email or my website is actually on BraveNet, so I'll check it out. And I just want to make sure I don't lose any perks and pluses that I get through Chrome.
Right. Yeah, Brave. I'm on Brave now, and boy, I like it. You don't get any ads, none.
Cool.
It blocks it. It's got a VPN, all that good stuff.
Well, I'll check it out and see if it works with StreamYard better than Chrome, and if not, then I'll switch back to Chrome. Because I really don't mind the ads myself. I just I've determined that I'll just speak over them if I need to.
Right.
I'm not in it for money or anything, so fuck them.
Well, I appreciate you letting me up, Keith, and we'll holler at you next time.
Yeah, I'm glad you got your systems fixed so you can come up anytime, Barney. I appreciate the support and the comments, particularly somebody that can hold me accountable in case I say something stupid or insane.
And by the way, that last time, this new computer, I told you, I got a new computer and it's got screens on it, other screens. It had a setting in it that all three of my phones connected to the computer when it was just, when I turned it on. And I could not find that. Finally got it taken care of. Anyway.
Isn't that your sync?
No, it was through, it says phone connect in the settings on the computer, and you can turn it on or off. Where you can,
so it would connect to any phone. Yeah, right. See, that's a slick thing they've done. In these newer computers, you can have your computer set up to connect to any open phone, and people just walking by, you can connect to it'll automatically connect to their phone, and if you're there, you can start snatching information.
Right. Nah,
so it's like important to make sure that your phone isn't set up that way either.
Right. But that's what the problem was. I found it that night and got it all turned off. So,
cool.
Anyway,
cool.
Well, talk to you later, Keith. Have a good one. Have a good night. We'll see y'all.
Yep. Be blessed, Barney. And you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That part's on you. So may your God bless you and love you. And we'll see you next time. Bye now.